Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson, and you're watching my 100% walkthrough for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So we've just gone to Lake Floria and unlocked the Ancient Cistern. So before we go there, though, there is a bunch of things we can get up here in the sky as well as in Skyloft. So real quick, we're going to get some goddess chests that are up here that we unlocked from the Great Tree primarily. So this first goddess chest we're going to grab is from Volcano Island over here, and if you actually dive down from high enough up, you can actually try and grab all of these flying squirrels, whatever. If you can get all of them, they'll actually give you 20 rupees, but they don't actually even appear until you're fairly close to the island, and I honestly just don't think you have enough time. I don't know if there's some kind of trick to this. I've tried many times, and I've never been able to get all of these squirrels in this particular location. There just isn't enough time. So maybe there's some kind of trick to it where you can, I've only been able to get like 2 squirrels per pass, basically. If you go back and forth, but I just can't quite get them all in time. So if somebody knows a trick to that, if you could let me know in the comments, that'd be kind of cool. Share your knowledge. Anyways, our goal is to land inside the volcano up on this upper ledge where there's a chest containing a piece of heart. And again, this is from one of the goddess chests that we got, or goddess cubes that we got from the Great Tree in Faron. Now before you leave Volcano Island, just make sure you hop down and play the harp for the Blessed Butterflies nearby to create a gossip stone that will give you some treasure. This next chest is inside Thunderhead and on an island to the far top right that I like to call like the Ruins Island. But anyways, from here you can dig up the soft soil nearby to find a chest that contains some treasure. We could have actually gotten this earlier when we first entered Thunderhead, but I figured we just get this, knock this out of the park as well as get the other goddess chest as long as we're coming here anyways. So go ahead and grab that, then you can kill the Waltulas on the side. I think you can even kill some of these ones that are level with us, technically with a Skyward Strike, but otherwise just the slingshot is the best thing to use. Once they're all taken care of, you can climb up, and this particular chest leads to a rupee medal. Rupee medals will make it so that rupees appear more often, and I think of greater value even, so things that would normally be like a blue rupee can be a red rupee instead. So it just increases the amount of rupees that you get from things. However, I think that treasure is still far more valuable. Honestly, if you need rupees, you can play minigames and stuff is usually a better way to get it, so I don't really think this particular medal is all that valuable. Though at the same time, like if you're going to use the cursed medal specifically, like you might as well have as many like rupee medals and stuff on as possible. Like honestly, the heart medal is like, okay, it's somewhat valuable, but if you have the rupee medal and the treasure medal and the cursed medal and, you have like 2 rupee medals, the cursed medal and the treasure medal all on at the same time, you get all kinds of stuff when you're fighting enemies. So if you're going to be farming that way anyways and you can't have bottles and you can't have shields, then that might be a good option for you. You might as well. That particular goddess chest was unlocked by a goddess cube that we got on the Great Tree earlier, a couple videos back. So next, we're running back all the way to Skyloft, and there's actually 2 goddess chests that we can get now. There's actually one that's been available for a little while, or that we unlocked significantly earlier that we can now reach, so that's over here inside the storage shed area of in the middle of Skyloft. The other one is over to the far left. There's also one more off to the far right, however, we can't actually get that one right now. I'm going to be marking it on our map just to show. It's on top of the floating island in the far corner. We can't actually access that until we get a future item. However, the one in the middle of Skyloft we can now finally get. So if you head over to where that beacon is, you'll see that there's actually a goddess cube, or a goddess chest in here, as well as a regular chest. And if you look in that room, you'll see there's a body of water here. How suspicious. So if you swim into the water here in Skyloft, you'll notice that there is actually a lower area that we can swim through. So do so, and then you can climb up on the nearby ledge. I think you have to dash or spin jump to get out of here. But anyways, this particular chest was unlocked by a goddess cube that we got in Eldin. It was on that like giant sand slide. There's like some little platforms off to the left, so you just jump on top of those geysers there, and there's a little island you can jump down to, and there's a goddess cube there. So that's what unlocked this. So I didn't really have time to talk about that earlier so much, but we got a piece of heart from the chest that was on Volcano Island earlier, and we also got this one. So now there is 13 pieces of heart total, so I just got another heart container in this video. Depending on your game, though, you might have 14 pieces of heart if Gorko had the Goddess Walls chest quest for you instead. I'll be able to complete his quest after Ancient Cistern, so I'll be all caught up, and then our games should sync up if your game forked that way. The other chest inside that little room had 100 rupees, which is awesome. And if you head over here, there's actually a little area that you can explore that has some soft soil that, and I think these kind of things usually have bugs around here. I did not actually see any bugs here this time, but this particular soft soil location often has a lot of rupees, and I think you can check it out multiple times actually. So just whenever you're in Skyloft, a potential option for you is to come over here and get some rupees, because you get at least 35 rupees I think every time, if not more. So it's actually quite a bit. So if you're in Skyloft anyways, it might be a potential option for you to come over there and get that. So we could have technically been getting that much earlier in the game, but I just haven't been doing that. This next goddess chest is just south of the Knights Academy, and it's on this little island that's next to this dock. All you have to do is just dive off the dock and then tilt your Wiimote forward and a little bit to the left, and you can land on it pretty easily. It feels like you don't have enough distance. You totally do. You can totally make it. Honestly, they actually like slow down time quite a bit while you're diving, and you actually jump really high when you jump off these docks, so it's actually totally fine. Anyways, this leads to 100 rupees. In order to get back to Skyloft, though, you do have to jump off and call your bird, and then like fly back around to get back to Skyloft, though. The related chest for this was in Lake Floria when we were on our way to the Fair on the Water Dragon. Now, we're actually going to need a bunch of different treasures in order to unlock these next upgrades I'm about to get with Gondo. I actually have a pretty decent amount of everything except for monster horns. No. So at this point, I thought to myself, yeah, monster horns, they drop off bokoblins. I could just fight some bokoblins. It'll be great. But I didn't realize, now that I'm watching back through all my footage to record the commentary, I realized that I've only gotten monster horns from chests. I did not get them from enemies at all. I thought I had just had a chance for them to drop. And that is not the case at all. There are some bokoblins that have monster horns on them. However, they don't drop off them. There is a way to make us get them. And we don't actually have access to that yet. We will very soon, though. So I made the mistaken assumption that I could go to Farron and just hunt bokoblins for a while and get a bunch of monster horns. I did not. I ended up getting a whole bunch of ornamental skulls, which is okay, but I didn't necessarily need that. So anyway, this is a huge waste of time, but my thought was at the time that I was just going to go back to Deep Woods, and there's a blue bokoblin as soon as you enter there, and it has a monster horn. So my thought was, I'm going to stun it, I'm going to keep killing it, and I'm going to run back, and I'll just keep doing that over and over again until it drops that monster horn as loot, and I can just grab it. And that's unfortunately not how the game works, which I did not realize at the time. So whenever you see sparkling mushrooms like this, you can slash them to get glittering spores. This puts 5 charges of glittering spores in your bottles, which you can use to make a bunch of fairies. We're starting to get to the point where we have enough hearts where fairies are kind of worthless. However, like, I don't get hurt very much, so I'm not worried about it for the bosses myself. But otherwise, a better option might be to get heart potions from town and then upgrade those to make sure that they heal enough hearts for you. You know, I guess in hindsight, too, looking at this, if I was, I don't know, here I was trying to make monster horns appear, I should have put on the cursed medal, too, if I was going to do that. I did not. I'm still wearing I have the treasure medal on, but otherwise I'm still wearing my shields and stuff like that, so it's kind of silly. So anyway, after running around for a while, I finally returned to Skyloft, defeated. But yeah, you apparently can't get monster horns off of bokoblins just by fighting them. That doesn't work that way. So yeah, good thing to know, though, you only get monster horns from chests for the first half of the game. But yeah, now that we have a whole bunch of treasure and stuff, we're finally returning to Gondo, who has a whole bunch of upgrades available to us. Now, the ones that we're particularly interested in is to upgrade our shield. So, we want to upgrade that, first of all. That's the first priority. After that, it's up to you. The rest of them are kind of all optional, honestly. I mean, technically the shield is optional too, but just having extra durability just makes me feel a little bit safer. This shield does repair on its own, but its durability is so low by itself that I like having upgrades for this one. So I can get the first upgrade. I need more monster horns to get the second upgrade, which is why I was running around a little bit ago, because I was trying to get it before this dungeon. That unfortunately did not work out for me, so I can't actually get this upgrade. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do the first part of the dungeon, and then I'm actually going to go get a monster horn, and I'll explain once we get there. Now, you can get the remaining upgrades if you want to. These ones are all optional. Only do this if you have more than enough treasure and more than enough rupees for that. Of course, at this point in the game, the rupees are probably kind of irrelevant to you. I mean, we just got a bunch of rupees in chests too, so you should have way more than enough. I do feel like overall of these upgrades I'm getting, the Seed Satchel is probably the most worthless one, the one that's the least important. However, it is nice to have, and I do use the Slingshot. I'm trying to use the Slingshot a lot throughout this playthrough, because I often just forget it exists. But it's actually very useful for things like Quadrababas and stuff even. Like, you know, basically any enemy where you feel tempted to use a shield bash, you can probably use the Slingshot, just FYI. So if you're ever at that point where you're like, oh no, there's an enemy and I don't want to deal with it, then that might be a good option. Here I'm also finally getting the Tough Beetle upgrade, which gives it more stamina, and it also makes you able to, I think it can make it smack against things a few more times before it cancels flying, but also it can fly further, so you don't have to, it won't like cancel as soon, which is nice. You don't have to stand as close to the destination in order to make it fly there. One of the last upgrades I'm getting is the Scatter Shot, which makes the Slingshot able to charge, so you can hold A and then it shoots out multiple pellets at once. And I think it just costs a single seed, but it spreads it out, kind of like a shotgun blast, which is pretty cool. It makes it so you don't have to aim quite as perfectly, which is really cool for fighting keys especially. If you see keys, especially when they're hanging from the ceiling and there's like 4 or 5 of them at a time, you can charge up the Slingshot and kill most of them in a single shot, which is really cool. This last upgrade, I expected to be able to do it, but I apparently was missing an ancient flower. That really surprised me because I've kind of been, I've been getting all of the ancient flowers that are available to me, I think. Some other quick note about that, I think actually when ancient flowers appear, especially if they're across the way, there's been a couple times where I've had that happen, and if it was like inconvenient or there's like a lot of bokoblins there, I've just been running past. But something you could do probably is I think you could actually collect it with the beetle. So if you see an ancient flower in the distance but you don't want to run over there and get it, you could probably just collect it with that. So just some extra food for thought for you moving forward. So lastly, before I left, I actually left the bazaar and then I thought better of it. I looked at my resources and realized I had more than enough treasure to get one of the final upgrades for the seed satchel. There's actually, I have 2 seed satchels. I'm only upgrading one of them just to show. And I might as well have it in my inventory because since I have a free slot anyways, so I'm just using it for that. But small seed satchel I feel like is the least important item I have in my adventure pouch at the moment. But yeah, I have more than enough treasure. In particular, I have more than enough monster claws and amber relics. Golden skulls, you only need 4 total in the entire game, and I've already bought some of the upgrades that require those, so I have more than enough golden skulls. So it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know, I have more than enough of everything, so it's great. Alright, so to summarize, we got a ton of stuff from Gondo, which is awesome. So I'm actually going to come back and get the final upgrade for the shield. I can't afford it at the moment because I don't have all the treasure I need. But I'm actually going to do that in the middle of the temple, again, because I think it's the final upgrade of the shield is what does that fancy thing that I want to show. So I'm going to come back here and upgrade it because of that. But hopefully if you have enough monster horns, you can upgrade it right now. Alright, so that's everything we can do in the sky for now. So return to Faron, go back to the Floria Waterfall bird statue, and then enter Ancient Cistern at long last, where I will meet up with you guys in the next video. Steal the bow. Well... There. Are you proud of yourself? 2 magic powder. I don't think I'm gonna do it. Oh. Nope. Alright, well, I need to go back to town, I think, and buy more. I need to have a full 20. You still have 0 deaths? No, I've died like 4 times or something like that. 5 times. Oh, it's a different ending? Oh, right. You're so right. No seagull for me. I did end up falling to peer pressure, and due to a certain someone stole the thingy. You are welcome. Enter the shop. No, you're just trying to cause harm to me. Right. See, I have to keep my perfect record of no deaths so that I get the secret ending. So I can't go into the shop. I don't know what you're talking about, Azul. You're just trying to make me look bad. Oh man, where could it be? Does she have a second one in here? There's Bow Wow and then the other one? Oh wait, there it is. There it is. Wait, on the table. Ah, yeah. No, I'll do it. For the reaction. Yeah, I'll show it because I